evening, City of Tracy. I'm your host, Raj Singh, and I have my co-host, Gurtej Atfal, along with me on this wonderful episode that we're doing today with City of Tracy staff and Tracy Law Enforcement and Tracy Unified School District. This is month of November, and as we all know, month of November around this year, it's the year, the time of festivals. We have Thanksgiving coming up, we have Christmas coming up, and overall November is it's a beautiful. It's the starting of winter, fall together, great season, right? So today, why we are here together? The number one reason, first of all, is to recognize the community that I belong to and Gurtej belong to, Sikh community. So California declares month of November as a Sikh awareness and Sikh heritage month, as per the Assembly Concurrent Resolution 195, which was proposed and recognized by Assembly Member Ash Cholera from District 27th. So that is what is the significance of month of November in the for the people living in the United States from the Sikh community. And overall, the main primary focus and our talk and topic for today is the diversity and inclusion. Talking about diversity and inclusion, I feel it plays a huge role from a small firm to a big firm, from a small city to a big city, and overall in the entire country. And talking about diversity, I think I would like to start off by sharing my personal story, how I can relate to how diversity plays a beautiful role in everybody's life. I'm not born here. I was born back in India. I moved here on a foreign student visa. I came here for studying. I am a proud graduate from San Jose State. And today, if I'm speaking about diversity, it's only possible in this country. I don't know if anything can be done similar can be done in any other country that would give you this platform to talk about diversity. Why is that? Because I was given the same opportunity and same sort of resources that everybody else was provided in this country. So that's what makes it wonderful. That's what makes it beautiful, that we all openly, with our open arm and open heart, welcome diversity. And it plays a huge, vital, imperative role overall to make this world beautiful, this country beautiful. And that's why we are proud to call ourselves Americans, that we are the land of dreamers and we welcome everybody who come and shine here. So that's my statement on it, and I would like to hand over to Gurtej. So let us get moving into our show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Raj. And first of all, I want to thank our city manager, assistant city manager, police chief, our HR from the HR department, Kimberly, and Brian McDonald from our Parks and Rec department, and superintendent and assistant superintendents from Tracy Unified School District. Tracy, as a city, it does have multiple programs in its department which acknowledge the diversity in the city of Tracy. If we talk about the diversity is not just on the basis of the race or ethnicity, it is on the basis of age, the citizenship, we have veterans, we have economic or the wage differences, the employment opportunities, we have different occupations, then people with different educational backgrounds, and some lives in their own houses, some rent those, then some have some basis on their health. We have the diversity in that too. So City of Tracy, with their different departments, do multiple initiatives to diversity, to acknowledge that diversity, to strive towards a better environment for this society in this diverse and make them inclusive in the City of Tracy. So now in today's conversation, we will request one by one to different departments. So what kind of initiatives they have in place for the diversity, and what are their expectations from the City of Tracy citizens, how they can participate with those departments, how they can help those departments to acknowledge the diversity and this inclusiveness. So I'll start with our chief, police chief. I'll request him to please introduce himself to the audience. And please let us know what kinds of programs you have and what are your expectations from the citizens of Tracy.
All right, good evening, everyone. Sekou Millington, your chief of police. I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation. And happy Sikh Awareness Month, or more clearly, Sikh Heritage Month. This is really near and dear to my heart. So bear with me for a second. I share a quick story. I think, Rod, you inspired me to share a little bit about my background. Some of you know this from my swearing in, but for those in the Sikh community who don't know, I actually have probably more in common with you and your community than I have differences. So I was born in Georgetown, Guyana, in South America. So I was not born here in the United States. I became a citizen in my early teens and understand the challenges with being from a different country. I spoke with a dialect as a child and had to work extra hard to enunciate things and really strive in school. And I grew up in Brooklyn, probably the most diverse community in the country. You talk about nationalities and differences, you find a different sort of country every couple of blocks that you go, occupation, right? I mean, you talk about diversity. That's how I grew up. So diversity, inclusion, this is in my blood. This is in my family. It's who I am more than what I do here as the chief of police. So understand how deep my roots go when it comes to diversity and inclusion. Where I come from, Georgetown, Guyana, half the population is East Indian and half are Afro, African heritage. It's almost a 50-50 split. So I actually have cousins that look Indian. Some of them actually moved up here and live in Southern California. But moving forward a bit about how close I am to this community, some of my staple foods, think about this: curry chicken, curry goat, roti, puluri, things that sound familiar to you. These are things that my mom and my aunts make. So like I said, I have a lot more in common than you know. Moving forward about the department. So I came here late January, early February, and not too long after I joined the police department, COVID hit. And so I was so looking forward to these amazing community events that I heard so much about, that I'd done research on, and I had not been able to really get involved in them because we had to consider social distancing. But I will tell you, one of the first things I did when I got here was start to meet the community members, community leaders, and one individual reached out to me, Jazz Singhal, who you might all be familiar with, and she actually took me around to the various Sikh members of the community, the different businesses, and introduced me, and I started dialoguing, understanding what the challenges were, understanding how we can be a better community, because your Tracy Police Department is a part of this community. We're not any different from any other ethnicity or group in this community. We are this community. Most of my officers live in this community. And so I thought that was very eye-opening to be able to go out and meet just about everyone in about a half of a day, as much as I can do. And it gave me an early insight into the level of diversity and the amount of the richness and diversity here in the city of Tracy. And so I got an early invite to, I believe it was a 9/11 event that ended up not moving forward again because of the social distancing aspect and the fact that we couldn't meet in groups. But I was looking forward to additional invites. And so I made myself available, not only to the members of the community that I met, but also to Jazz, who seemed to be very involved, very ingrained in the community. So fast forward, I started thinking about the different levels of training that we need here to ensure that we are being inclusive and considering diversity and considering the different cultures here in the city of Tracy. One of the training programs that I was able to actually locate, I found it was a friend of mine trained it, a captain from the Alameda County Sheriff's Department, and it was a cultural diversity with an introduction to cultural humility course. It's a certified course, and I was able to connect that course with my newly developed professional standards and training division, because I saw a need to enhance our training here at the police department. So we actually are expected to have that training here first quarter of next year. But I'll add to some of the training that we have. We have developed a more robust de-escalation training that speaks to how we engage with different members of the community, how we communicate with them, how we listen before acting, slowing things down, because we have such a diverse community, whether it's the Sikh community, the Hispanic community, the African American community, the Asian community. We want to make sure that we understand, first of all, what we're walking into, the differences in the culture, and how to best communicate so that you have a situation where things escalate, right? The idea is to de-escalate those things. We have had here procedural justice training, phase 1. And again, that's just an enhanced training on fairness and inclusion, being honest when you're having conversations, giving people a voice. That's the biggest thing, right? When it comes to cultural awareness, cultural sensitivity, sometimes we don't understand the intricacies of culture, different cultures. And so we want to be able to hear people, as opposed to the way I was trained as a young officer, and I think the way academies generally train is to get on scene and have a command presence, to control the scene and make sure we know what's going on and who's going where and what they're doing. Sometimes we've got to step back and slow down a little bit and understand that that might be a problem in a particular community when you go there and do that. And so some of the other training, we have mandated racial profiling training. That's actually a post-certified training that we have to post as the professional, police officer standards and training here in California. We're mandated to have that training every 5 years. So that's a mandate alone, but we want to go above and beyond that. We don't just want to do just enough, right? We want to do a little bit more. So my professional standards and training division is actively looking at different levels of training to bring that level of awareness to our officers and to engage more with the community. What I would offer is, as we develop this training and we dialogue, Mr. Gurtesh and Raj, that I have members of the community come and help to educate my department. Part of our plan going into 2021 is to hold lineup briefings where we can be a little bit more in short blocks, 30 minutes, no more than an hour, because we want to get out into the field, obviously, and get calls for service done. But I want to make sure that the different diversities, the Hispanic community, our African-American community, our Asian community, come to our lineups, provide these trainings, whether it's individual or mixed in some of these cultural awareness classes that we're going to be bringing here to the Tracy Police Department. So that's what I would ask of you. If you have people who are trained and who are willing to participate in that, to reach out to me. I will connect them with our training commander, and we will have that as part of our curriculum on how to be more involved with our community, how to hear from them directly. And I think that will help in this growth, right, of inclusion. Let me talk a little bit really quick. I know I don't want to take up all the time here. We are also on a heavy recruiting campaign where we want to reflect our department. Our department needs to reflect our community. And so we have recently hired a consulting firm, Epic. It's Epic Productions. And over the next 2 months, they're going to be putting together an absolutely amazing recruitment video to talk about the level of diversity here in the police department and reach out to members of the community so that we can reflect what our community looks like and what we're trying to hire. I'll go one step further. So I've been going out to my officers, emphasizing the need to continue recruitment. We're our best recruiters. We know best the quality of character we want to our left and our right when we're in the field. And so here recently, we had a young officer from Stockton come down to help us in a translation. The young gentleman spoke Punjabi. One of my really experienced officers said, hey, we're hiring, right? Now, this is what we're messaging. We want our officers recruiting a diverse lot of folks to come join the police department. The young man put in his application, and we interviewed him on Tuesday. So my hope is that we can now grab him, bring him onto the police department, and continue to engage Raj and Mr. Gurtesh, that we continue to tap into resources where we can come and have discussions with the community, let them know what the police culture is like, and hopefully continue to recruit them. So I am very hopeful that we will actually have this young man here. He's very eager. I'm very eager to have him, and he's very eager to be here. So those are some of the, one last thing. In general, about cultural diversity, some of the things we engage in, we actively participate in the Juneteenth celebration here in Tracy, as well as the Mexican Independence Day event here in Tracy. We have a lot of great photos on Facebook if you take a look. And then we last year participated in this Sikh Heritage Month, and we will continue to participate as long as you invite me, and then any other event that you have. So I think I've taken up enough time, but I'm going to be here for a few more questions, and then I'm doing a ride along tonight in our beautiful Tracy. So be here for a few questions if you have any. Hope I didn't take too much time.
No, thank you so much, Chief. We appreciate all your the personal story that you shared and your vision and the kind of engagement and activities that you are bringing to this town. So we're very thankful, and thank you so much for providing the insight. We really appreciate it. Now, just kind of moving through our show, to keeping in mind in time, I would like to reach out to now our HR Director, Kimberly. Kimberly, please, you share your thoughts and vision regarding the diversity and inclusion with us, please.
Yes, thank you. Hi, I'm Kimberly Murdoch, Human Resources Director for the City of Tracy, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you tonight. And honestly, I think the Chief stole most of my thunder, so thanks, Chief. Really, what our HR department is focused on, beyond a compliance piece, is a training, an awareness, really an opportunity to shape the culture, and that includes reflecting all of us. So whether that's in our training efforts, which does include our mandatory harassment, discrimination, retaliation training. For the past several years, we've participated in unconscious bias, implicit bias training, which brings, again, awareness in terms of some of those biases that we may not even recognize, but also in terms of broadening the conversation from a global perspective down to our organization. We're talking about starting what some organizations might call an employee resource group, or opportunities to have candid conversations, open conversations within some parameters and guidelines to be able to discuss perceptions and the way that we send and receive messages around communication. I think it's important to know how our experience and our cultures and our backgrounds affect everything that we do and what we bring forward to the organization. And I think it's our opportunity to celebrate those differences and find out how those can be a complement, not only to the organization, but to the community. I think it's incredible that some of the efforts that Chief is making, and we're supporting him in the recruitment efforts. But our opportunities to reach out to the community and find out, hey, community, when we are trying to announce or recruit for certain positions, talking about City of Tracy as being an employer of choice. We are an incredible organization. We have an incredible leadership team. Thank you to our leaders, especially on this call. But we are an employer of choice, and our desire is to reflect the community we serve. So word of mouth advertising is the best way to talk about not only the benefits of working for local government, but serving this community. So ways that we can do that, information from citizens can be helpful. Also, we're looking at, somebody made a comment that, that we don't celebrate enough holidays, and I am all about doing that. So let me know what else we can celebrate. I can plan a party for that. But I mean, if they're just like Chief mentioned Juneteenth, there are holidays and celebrations which are important, which may not necessarily be memorialized with a City of Tracy recognized holiday. However, I have a health and wellness team that one of their key initiatives and focus is to talk about wellness aspects of our employees. And one of those is celebrations of holidays and important events that are meaningful to them. And that's just another way that we can, again, highlight and celebrate who works for us, and potentially reach out to candidates who are not working for us yet, to show them that inclusion is a huge part of what we are and what we want to be. And that's one of the effects that makes us an employer of choice. So we're hoping that helps us in those recruitment and retention efforts.
Thank you very much, Kimberly. Appreciate it. You have shared how the Department of HR works or strives towards the diversity and how inclusive that department is. So now I'll move on to Brian McDonald, who is affiliated to our Parks Department. And I can say from personal experience and everybody around, so how everybody, especially in this COVID era, they appreciate our parks, and from every age, from small kids to elderly, so how they value the resources that we always take it for granted. So now I'll request Brian to please share how his department strives towards diversity and inclusion, and what are his department's expectations from the citizens to partner with the Parks Department to just move it to a next level?
Thank you, Gurtej. I appreciate you and Raj inviting us tonight. Everybody can hear me, right? All right, good. So appreciate the time. So I'm Brian McDonald. I'm the city's Parks and Recreation Director. And for those of you who may not know me, I'm also a lifelong Tracy resident. So I've been here quite a while, and I've seen a lot of the changes we've gone through. But I think one thing as a community I've always been proud of is our diversity. We've got a lot of hardworking families that live here from all different backgrounds. Me growing up playing a lot of sports and being in schools, interacting with a lot of folks from different backgrounds, it's always resonated with me, having an opportunity to share different ideas and understand that we come from different backgrounds. And I'm also a product of the Tracy Unified School District. So whether good or bad, Dr. Stevens, I think it's been, but it's something I think we are proud of as Tracy residents, as Tracyites. And as a Parks and Recreation Director, I want to instill that in our staff and instill that in our goals and our mission. Parks and recreation throughout the state of California, is all about inclusion, about providing opportunities for all individuals, whether you have a different ability, whether you have a different socioeconomic background, whether you have a different taste in different types of recreation. I think it's our job to provide that access and affordable access to those opportunities. And if there's several ways we do that. The biggest way we can do that, and you brought it up, Tejon, is about through our park system and making sure that our park system is equitable and accessible to everybody. And so right now it's a perfect time because we're going through our Parks Master Plan update. And Raj, as a Parks Commissioner, you've had an opportunity to get your fingerprints on this a little bit, but we're really looking for kind of service gaps and where we're missing on, whether it's, hey, a certain part of town does not have the infrastructure in place for our park system. So something that we need to focus on going forward. A lot of our playgrounds, we are focusing on having inclusive playgrounds. That's been a hot topic with our community and with our Parks Commission. So as we start to renovate and replace playgrounds, we want to make sure that they are accessible to all ages and abilities, whether or not, you've got a child with a special need or, a parent who maybe needs certain access. We want to make sure that we have those opportunities in place. As we go through park designs, we want to ensure that each park has amenities for not just one segment of the population. So, for example, we have walking paths for, folks who maybe be a little more advanced in their age and don't like the monkey bars or the higher impact sports. We have sports complexes that offer recreational opportunities for our youth. We do our summer block party series that offers, leisure for all families, and it's free to the community. So there's a lot of things we're proud of. What we're probably most proud of, though, is the fact that we partner with a lot of local nonprofits through what we call an MOU, through a Memorandum of Understanding. And for example, I know Chief had mentioned the TAAA, the Tracy African American Association. We partner with them, and they host the Juneteenth event. The Southside Community Organization, they do their Mexican Independence Day. They do several other programming here in town, and we partner with them. We've partnered with the VFW, the Veterans, Veteran of Foreign Wars. They do our annual Memorial Day event and our Veterans Day events. There's a lot of other opportunities, and so what I'd like our community to understand is if there is other opportunities for us to partner with other groups, that we have a process in place, but we are open to looking at other opportunities. Through our recreation programs, we get a lot of donations, and this is great for anybody who's out there who wants to donate. We have financial assistance for folks who maybe cannot afford some of our recreation programs. A lot of our seniors use that, and we partner with our Tracy Friends of the Parks and Community Services Foundation. So folks will often donate to that nonprofit, and then they in turn provide financial assistance for those in need. Recently, we revitalized our rolling rec program, and I'm not sure if anybody here is familiar with that, but it's a program we had revamped. It's been about 10 years since we last had this program, and really it's a pop-up mobile recreation program, and it's really designed to bring recreation and wellness to those hard to reach parts of our community. So we've gone to several different parks throughout town. It's free and open to the public. It also gives people an opportunity to try out some of our programs that may cost $80 for a 2-week period. And as a parent, you're not sure if I want to spend that kind of money if my child's not going to like it. We offer some sampling of that. And then we also, through the Grand Theater, which is not in my department, but is a part of our recreation and cultural arts program here in town. They do, through their presenting season, they partner with a lot of different groups. They do the Fiesta de Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead. They do, I know we had mentioned Jazz Sangha earlier, the Diwali annual performance that's been presented. Jazz does a great job with that to celebrate the Diwali. I know that was recent as well. They do the Navidad in Mexico. That is the presenting ballet, where they focus on it's Folklorico Mexicano, so celebrating music and dance during the Mexican Christmas season. Lots of different opportunities through our arts education programs. We have annual programming that focuses on Polynesian, through different Asian cultures, and it's something that we could be really proud of. And to kind of wrap this up, I like to talk a lot too, like Chief, so I'll wrap this up quick. For those of you who would like to help participate, there are 2 commissions that are in our department that we are the liaison. It's the Parks Commission and the Transportation Commission. Those commissions are diverse commissions, and we encourage more participation. I know, Gurtej, I know you are a planning commissioner, I believe. Raj, you're on our Parks Commission, and we thank you for your service. We always encourage folks to apply when we have openings, and we will have openings soon. And then also for those of you who'd like to sign up on any of our programming, or perhaps even donate to our financial assistance, you could visit us at tracyartsandrec.com or call us at 209-831-6202. So I'll end it with that, and I'll be here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for sharing all this great information and valuable the stories that you did, and all the programs and activities that your whole department, your whole staff is behind pushing all those for our community members. So we really appreciate that. And now moving forward, to our Tracy Unified School District, we have Dr. Stephens, and we have his assistants along with him. So I would like them to please, we can only see Dr. Stephens. We can't really see 2 of his partners over there. So can you please introduce them on the show, please?
First of all, thank you for allowing us to join you today. I wanted to break the news to the city of Tracy that actually the employer of choice is TUSP. Tracy, news to you, maybe a shock. Don't let it be.
We can debate about that.
First of all, this is my 7th year superintendent in Tracy, and when I first got here, it was evident to me that our management did not really reflect, I think, the diversity that we saw in the city of Tracy. That was one of the very first things I noticed when I got here. I would say in my last 7 years, I think we've hired, last time I checked, 39 school administrators, district office administrators, and I believe 20 of them were Caucasian and 19 of them were minority. So we're really working hard to get the kind of diversity in our district that I think that we need. This past June, I had 2 associate superintendents, both retired, and they were fabulous people and did a wonderful job for us. But we've replaced them with, and I have Dr. Rob Penko on my right, which I'll move so you can see him, and Julie Stocking on my left. And you'll see that we've diversified our management. We have 3 associate superintendents, and we have really tried to hire not just diversity, but these 2 people beside me are quality. So we really feel good about the work that we've done in that area. But I think first I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Penko to say a few words. I think you'll come in and speak.
All right. There we go. Well, I really like what Raj said as far as, trying to have people shine and welcoming people. And that's kind of what we're trying to do as a Tracy Unified School District. One of the things that's going on down the hall right now is our Diversity and Equity Committee. And that's an opportunity for school administrators, for parents, for volunteers to meet, to talk about issues that are going on in their schools, within the community, put on events that might address some of the deficiencies that we see in the community, or ways that we can help and be a better place and a more diverse place where students and families feel comfortable. That's one thing that we stress within the school district is we're not just educating students, but we're working with the whole families. One of the main events that we do in the school district is the Festival of Cultures, and that Diversity and Equity Committee puts on the Festival of Cultures. It happens in the spring. It happens at the Grand Theater, so it's really nice walking in, seeing the place packed, 350, 400 people that are watching our students perform. We have 12 to 15 acts. We try and get a diverse group of students. There's everything. There's comedy acts, there's step shows. I've seen clogging. Anything that you can think of is there and able to perform. And so it's really apparent when you walk in how diverse the city of Tracy is, and I think it's just a really nice venue to show the talents that our students have. And so that's an event. I don't know what that will look like this year, like anything else, but it's something that we put on yearly that we're very proud of, and I think that is a very good opportunity for students. Now, one of the things that we talked about was expectations. And so I think in a nutshell, our expectation when it comes to students that all students are treated fairly, that all students are treated equally, and they have opportunities to succeed and receive a quality education. And Ms. Stocking is going to talk about some of the specifics in regards to curriculum, the training of teachers, etc. that we do in the district.
So I'm going to have Julie Stocking step up now. She's our Associate Superintendent for Ed Services. He's been with the district for 5 years now, I believe. So I'll move over and let Julie.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for letting us join you this evening. My name is Juliana Stocking. Just to give you a little bit of a background, I did grow up in the Central Valley, graduated high school from Livingston High School, and grew up in the Central Valley that was very diverse. So I don't know anything different. And transitioning over to Tracy was really exciting because it is diversity on a larger scale. And being able to join Tracy Unified has really given us that opportunity to continue that work that has been working toward for many years. One of the things that I want to highlight is our instructional framework that we've adopted as a district over the course of the last 3 years. And that really started with us as leaders thinking about who the community is that we are serving today. Not 30 years ago, but today. And that is something that we look at the beginning of every year. What is the demographic data of Tracy Unified and the community? And how are we aligning our system to support success for our students that reflect the demographics? And so with that, our instructional framework includes rigor, relevance, engagement built on relationships. And when we say relationships, we have 3 defining factors for that we have really delved into specifically this year. The first one is knowing what our student and family vulnerabilities are. The second one is how are we connecting to them in our everyday instructional teaching and learning practice. And the third one is how are we having compassion for them. And I think that that is relevant now more than ever, especially with the impacts of COVID-19. but it's something that we look forward to continuing our work on that will be long-standing in sustaining our instructional framework. So that's our overarching piece. What does that mean in our actions that we are implementing on a daily basis? We are very fortunate to be awarded with a STEM grant. This is a federal grant, and the purpose of this grant is to increase underserved people in the STEM profession. And so we are starting that practice from preschool all the way through our educational system here in Tracy Unified. We currently have that grant implemented in our elementary schools. Next year, we will move into our middle school and then high school. And so that charge for us is huge. This is something, as Dr. Stevens says, our STEM grant is not something we do, it's who we are. And I think that's something when we say that we are practicing inclusivity, which is one of our values, a vision for inclusivity, we don't mean some students, we mean all students. And I'll be honest, that's where the big challenges come, right? How do we revisit our policies and our practices every day and align them to that vision of inclusivity? One of those charges right now is we are looking at our targets for students being successful in mathematics, because that is in alignment with our STEM grant. And we also know that mathematical background and foundation and success is a huge gatekeeper for many of our students when it comes to education. So we are not taking on the easy stuff, we are taking on the challenge, things that are really going to shake up the system, but for the better. And so these are things that we are very excited about. We have multiple layers of teams that are committed to this, classified, certificated, management, all working together for this vision of inclusivity. In addition to that, we have materials adoptions. And one of those material adoptions is that we are putting materials in the hands of our students and our teachers that reflect a diverse perspective and experience. And so that is something that we take our teacher teams through when we are adopting core curriculum that has been proposed by the state of California. The last thing that I want to share is that regarding our staff, we've had some recent events take place in the last year, but these are not new events. They've just been compounded. And so as a responsible factor in acknowledging that we are working from an assets-driven model and embracing diversity, we have brought the unconscious bias training to all of our staff members, including teaching staff. We have currently, as of today, trained all of our high school teachers and administrators. We will then move into December with our middle schools. And then in the spring, we look forward to engaging our elementary and K-8 teachers and administrators with that training. That is the beginning, and I know many people have different perspectives about these trainings. But I think the one thing that it has helped us see is that I think, Raj mentioned earlier and Chief Millington is that, how do we start to have that dialogue? Because it can be very challenging, and we do have very real experiences related to it. Recognizing that bias doesn't equate racism, and really thinking about those layers of how we can build, but what we can do to move away from that and be able to have that open dialogue and then align our practices and policies to inclusivity. So those are some of the actions we're working on here in Tracy, and we continue to do so.
Thanks, Sue. So that's it from Tracy. Unless there are questions.
Thank you very much, Tracy Unified School District Director and Assistant Directors, for sharing the thoughts. So education is the key to unlock the world, a passport to freedom. So we all are here with our diverse backgrounds. So that was only because of our educational backgrounds. So the tolerance, how they provide awareness in the kids, so how they make them or shape them to be a better individual. So with that said, I will thank everybody, all the departments, for sparing their valuable time and sharing their thoughts with us, how they value the diversity, what kinds of programs they have for inclusiveness, and how the citizens of this Tracy can participate in those programs, coordinates with these different departments to make it a better Tracy tomorrow. So before we end, so I'll request our different departments if they have anything to add, so anything to share, so please.
Maybe I can jump in really quick, and I promise to be brief. I listened to all the amazing presenters, and I'm really inspired. I'm really, really happy and excited to be a part of this team Tracy, right? It's bigger than Team Tracy PD and Team Tracy department heads. This is Team Tracy. So Raj and Gotesh, thank you for bringing this platform for us to be able to engage. I will offer two other quick opportunities for our C community. We have an Explorer program. So I mean, I look at engagement with our youth and with our adults. So we have an Explorer program that we would be happy to have members of the community and continue. We talk about homegrown law enforcement, peace officers. It starts with our youth, right? We have discussions with TUSD, and they've been excellent partners. But we have an internal Explore program that we would love to have more diversity on. And then we have our VIPS program, our volunteers in policing. I've got about 25. I could use 50. So, you know, if members of the community want to participate on a voluntary basis, now we have a social distancing guideline, so we don't have them actively involved, but they are knocking at the door to engage with our community. And so I would love to make that a more robust program. So that's, again, another opportunity. And I thank you very much. That's it. I'm done. Brian, take it away.
No, thank you.
I'll just say a quick few words. For those of you I know in this pandemic, it's been really difficult on a lot of us. Continue to use our parks. Our parks are open. Please use them safely. Wear your mask. Keep your distance. If you want to go use our playgrounds, make sure you're with your family unit. You know, and just enjoy yourselves. And thank you everybody for having us.
I would just say for Tracy, like I mentioned before, I've been last 7 years and I love Tracy community. There's a lot of wonderful people here up and down every street, and I've been fortunate, and I think we all feel lucky to be here. So thank you.
Raj and Gurtesh, just in closing, wanted to
Appreciate it,
let
Dr.
you know,
Stevens.
you know, we've heard a lot about people's.
Yes, please.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, I wanted to just let you know that, you know, in just listening and observing, you know, we all have these, you know, unique backgrounds and perspectives, but our experience is what is really unique and makes us so as a community. And just hearing, you know, your background, the background of Chief, and that we all have some theme to bring to the table, and really recognizing our experience as truth, right? And taking that and looking at that through that lens is what we can do to build a stronger community, and one that kind of really values, you know, everything that makes us unique as humans, right? In humanity. And so I'm really proud of the executive team that's participating on this call today, because they do exactly that. We have about 80 plus, you know, managers in the city, and each of them are trying to take steps as to look at this great community of ours through that lens. And I think you taking the first step of inviting us, just starting the dialogue of talking about what makes us unique as Tracy and what we all bring to the table is kind of the first step of many. So I just want to thank you for your leadership in doing that, and let us be a part of the kind of this first conversation, and I hope of many. So
thank you very much, Sue. And I'll thank all the departments for their valuable time. It was a very valuable discussion. So we had multiple questions, but I'm pretty hopeful that most of the questions were answered based on what kinds of programs different departments had, and citizens, they wanted to learn more about different departments that the city of Tracy has. So now I'll request those citizens also, after this conversation, they will definitely have the follow-up questions. So please send those follow-up questions to us. We will definitely send them to the departments for further clarification. And as the city manager Jenny has mentioned, we will definitely, based on the need, we will request the city management to have the follow-up discussions. So with that, I'll end this discussion. Thanks again. Thanks all for watching, and thanks everybody for your time.